You know, unfortunately, I don't get the chance to say what I'd like to say to my kids a lot, but a lot of times I'll send my son Xavier a text in the morning and say, have a good day at school. Well, I send them all texts, but he's the one who answers back, so that's why I mentioned him, because he's the one who answers back, and we usually have a conversation throughout the day when I start the conversation with a, hey, have a good day, or how you doing? But any of the other ones, they just don't answer back. So there's all kinds of things you want to say to people, but if you don't get the chance to, you don't get the chance to. But now we have this gift of recording and the gift of video and all that great stuff. So, if I'd like to say to them is how, for advice, when you're a kid that age, I've been there many, many times, but we'll just say I have experience. So we know what it's like to be young and to be pressured and to not want to do what, like, the adults tell you to, the authorities tell you to. You say you don't tag along with everybody else, but usually a kid in some shape or another follows some kind of fad, some kind of crowd, and if they don't, they're one of the loners, and that's another crowd, but they're individual loners, but if you put them all together, they're the loners. So they all become sort of part of a crowd, and they don't really mean to, they just do. So how do you give advice to a kid who has the kind of, this day and age, a lot of the crowds are somewhat negative, which is fine, and they seem negative, but it's only seemingly, because nothing's real. So what I would like to say to him is, you may not want to go through school, but right now everybody's got to be a child through their life. So you have to go through that stage to understand what it's like to not be able to do it yet, or to not be able to have it yet, or not be able to go there. You have to go through these things to learn. You have to learn. You can't just pop out and be like, I'm ready to go skydiving at 6. You know what I mean? Like that was just, I popped off out of my head. So any kind of anything, you don't operate heavy machinery when you're 3 years old because it looks cool on TV. No, you have to grow up. So, you have to form. So during that time is when you learn. And what you learn is the stuff you introduce to yourself and the stuff you stay around. So when you stay around the kids that don't want to go to school because fuck that, it's not important, and the ones who, just refuse authority all the time. I was like that. But at the same time, I knew for some reason school was something I had to do. So something just in the back of my mind made me do it. And I just did it without really trying that hard. I even did advanced classes and didn't really try. And then I ended up quitting. But then I ended up getting a real diploma because I scored like a perfect score on the GED test. I even have an actual diploma. But this isn't about me or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, you can be around those kind of crowds and not absorb it. Or the best thing to do at that age before you understand the whole thing is to avoid those kind of crowds. And you may seem like some people make fun of you. And I would just tell my kids, because through my experience, I know what I'm talking about, and I know who I am, and I'm not going to keep trying to brag about it. It's nothing to brag about. We're all the same thing. It's just I've realized this. It's like knowing the answer to a question. It's nothing great about it. It's just I have it. At first I got a little excited, and it's something to be excited about. So at the same time, it's nothing exciting, but it's something so amazing, you can't help it. So you still have that decency about you that even if other people get offended by you being like, I know it all, I know the answers, I know blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to be this mystical wizard. I'm just Dan, but I'm not just Dan anymore. I'm really not what Dan ever was up to the point where it happened. I am no longer related to anything except for the people I choose to relate to and the people I honor, because that's my life. That's why I only really talk to my mom, dad, and whoever introduces themselves to me now. Instead of thinking of my past, I only think of now, what's going on now. And I only hold on to my parents because I see them all the time, because I want to honor that. And I'm not going to just completely forget everything in my past. I just don't hold on to it. If it's something that's going to be negative for me, I won't do it, no matter who it is or what it is. And I really don't think anything's harming me right now, so I don't get those vibes from the people I'm around, my family and my parents. So anyone that I'm around, I really don't get that vibe. I feel like I can help them. If I try to help them, or we work together doing just some random activity, and for some reason we don't clash, or we do clash, or we don't get along, then in our personal forms, my way of showing love about those situations is to back off and give people space. So that's what I do. You can't love everybody by being in their face, being like, I love you, I want to be here for you. No, you put the word out there. You offer the help. If they want it, they'll ask. You can't make them do anything. So when it comes to kids going to school, if you just stay on a positive track. Become the world you live in a world you want to be in, whether anyone else is around you or not. Refuse to say, hey, I see war and pain and suffering, and instead of saying, I see beauty and sunlight and wonderful things that everyone's doing, having a great time doing, but instead we do those, and as soon as we're done, we mourn again. It's like we get back into sadness. It doesn't make any sense at all. So what I would say is, be strong and don't follow along with anybody else. Live in the world you want to live in at all times. And when it gets hard, be brave, be strong. That's what it's all about. The stronger you are, the better it pays off